Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Talk Apologetics. My name is Katia, and today I'm here with Ouly, and we're just going to learn more about him, learn more about his story, and just get to know him a little bit better, his testimony, talk about apologetics, all the things that we love to do. So, hi, Ouly, how are you? How are you doing today?
Yeah. Hello, Kadia. Kadia. It's a pleasure and honor, and I thank you very much for this opportunity to be here with you today. When people ask me, how do you feel? I especially say that I am perfectly fine because it, in many things in life, if you just say, oh, it's fine, okay, you are not really listening to the person. And I appreciate to give a trick to people to say, okay, I'm in a super shape today, or I'm perfectly fine. So they say, oh, but who is this guy that is not answering the same way as other people?
You answer the normal way, okay? Everyone just says fine.
Yeah. Yes, yes. They don't care. Most of the people, they don't care. And even if you say, okay, but I am not feeling well. Oh, but I have things to do
Yeah,
because they
exactly.
don't want to be around people that are ill or not healthy.
Yeah, awesome. So
Unfortunately.
where are you currently located and have you always lived there your whole life?
Yeah. I'm based in Switzerland. I'm 44 years old and I'm a maximum performance coach. But first of all, I am an osteopath and I practice in the health area for 20 years. And as vice champion of Judo of the World Master, I also gained skill in mindset. And I learned through sport how to be stronger. And that helps me now in my current business as a maximum performance coach to help people to unlock their potential and also to be fulfilled in their life and have success and feel good simply.
Mm, being a performance coach for other people in their business, have you saw your faith kind of growing as you do that, or has how is that helping you with your faith and like keeping you grounded in what you're doing?
Mhm. Let me explain you just a little story that was yesterday with my coach Ayrton. It was amazing because we were going for a cold plunge. It was one of his goals this year. And as he took me as a coach, I say, okay, I will jump in the cold water with you. I am not only the guy that is coaching, but I am at the side of my coachee. And in that case, it is also cold and difficult for me. But
Yeah.
as I am mentally tough, I
Mm,
go with him. And yesterday he was freezing, he was shaking, he was saying, okay, oh, but it's difficult. I don't want. And I was there with him in saying, okay, but you can do it. Believe in you. I am here at your side and we will do it.
yeah.
So the pace is related to this experience for me. It's a
Mm,
beauty when I see a person suffering because I understand the process. I understand the pain that is behind. And in that case, okay, it's just a moment, but it's hard. It's painful. And to understand, to proceed through this pain and to see the person that is going through this suffering, embracing pain, and then saying, oh, yes, we did it, is
mm,
just fantastic. It's a blessing for me to have this experience, to see that when you believe in something, then you feel yeah, so much
yeah.
stronger.
That's amazing. I think resilience and understanding that is a huge part of being a believer in Christ because you're going to face issues, you're going to face trials and struggles and of course persecution in light of how things are today, and you
Hmm.
have to be able to be resilient and be able to bounce back and understand that the person who experienced the most suffering, he Christ died for my sins, experiencing unbelievable suffering. I can deal with this moment, this small moment of uncomfortability.
Yes,
Yeah. So
exactly.
very, very important. So you said your faith journey has changed dramatically within the last year. Kind of
Mm.
tell us what happened within the last year that kind of showed you that you are now a full-on practicing, you're rooted in the faith, and what was the difference from before to right now?
Mhm. Just imagine a guy like me that is practicing judo for 40 years and as well jiu-jitsu. So I was strong physically and also mentally. And it comes of an ego place. You say, okay, I feel good. I was this champion. Wow, fantastic.
Mhm.
But in fact, in my life, I saw that I was not the guy I wanted to be because I was lacking integrity. I was not the person I wanted to be. And my journey began like this. I was saying to me, okay, I want to be stronger. It was 3 years ago. I was suffering addiction. That year, as I asked to be stronger, I had the most important difficulty in my life and to show that I was going through this addiction and that is finished. And I was so proud of it. But it was the beginning of the journey to say, okay, now I build on this.
Right.
And as an athlete, top level athlete, it was my goal to also become stronger, not only physically and mentally, but also energetically, financially, and also spiritually. And that's
Right.
why it's linked with my discovery and say, okay, but what is stronger? A person that is well prepared, trained, and working for himself for championship, or a person acting like the same, but also having faith in believing in something greater. Who
Right.
will fight more? Who will go until death more easily? Who will do the last step when it is required and when your ego has nothing to do with it? It's when you are fighting properly for something bigger that you become really stronger. And that's why the journey is linked with my past as an athlete and
Mhm.
who I wanted to become. And the goal is not now to be a very beautiful looking guy and especially strong, but it's to say, okay, I just want to express gratitude, gratefulness for what I am becoming because it's linked with how I train. And it's not more, I want to be in a fantastic physical shape.
Right. Right.
It, it's I am training to just serve God at the best level. I am not doing a training to say, okay, I want to do 18 reps, but I say, okay, I do one more, not for me, but to serve Him, to help Him to support this cross. I am trying at my level to help Jesus to endure and suffer and to help him to support the weight he had to carry. That is my goal now when I train. So imagine the difference of mindset of me
Right.
before and me now. It's totally different.
Yeah. So nothing has changed besides how you think about it, right? Because we come to a limit within
Mhm.
ourselves. We have to stop when we can't do anymore or when we think we can't do more. But when we understand what we're doing for Christ, then it's like, okay, I can go that extra mile. I'd imagine,
Exactly,
yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I'd
My
imagine.
my 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 preferred sentence is life is beginning the day you are fighting for something bigger than you. So if you think you are the only one to suffer, it's not the case. If you think you are the most beautiful person on earth or more wealthy, yes, perhaps, but it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. The day that you are offering your life to to something bigger, to say, okay, it 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 happens what happens, but it's a process. It's just a process, and enjoying the pain and enjoying the suffering. That is just a moment, as a very small moment when I train. But at least I say, okay, I did it to push my limit and to serve. And if one day I need this strength to be used, I will be useful to defend myself, my family, but also Christ if it's needed. Because I believe in having faith too Sometimes it's not to be very kind and gentle. Sometimes you need to be hard and to be able to defend yourself or to argue with people that are very bad against Christianity.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd imagine when I was in the military, there was a lot of people who are afraid of getting out of the military because you go through this process where you have the career progression and you're climbing the ranks and you're staying fit and
Mhm.
you're being rewarded for these things. And then when you get out of the military, you feel like a lot of soldiers, prior soldiers, fall into like depression because they basically don't know who they are without the ability of like the progression, the rewards, the oh, I was a major or a captain or an officer in the military, and then now I'm out in the civilian world where I'm nothing. And it's like you weren't doing it for a greater purpose other than other than yourself. And so when you separate or when you leave that career, like eventually, like your career as an athlete will eventually stop. Who are you going
Yeah,
to be after then?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why also a lot of people, I saw just an article yesterday, a lot of people that are retiring from high level competition are losing everything and becoming depressed because they have no goals anymore in their life. If they were not rooted and having a kind of identity and knowing why they are fighting for.
Yeah. That's so, so important. And so when we see our youth and what they're going through, it's no wonder that anxiety and depression is rampant today all over the world. Right now, 70% of Christian high schoolers who enter college will leave college with little to no faith. That's a huge number. What's your opinion as to why you believe that Christian youth is rapidly losing their faith today?
Mhm. There are multiple reasons, but the one would be related with the ability of this new generation to deal with difficulties. And we have now a generation of young people that are on social media or that are scrolling and that are just enjoying to be where they are and doing what they want to do. But they are not pursuing something bigger, as I said before. So the only goal for the vast majority of this generation is to have pleasure, to enjoy life, to go here on holidays, to go in the club. And it's not to who do I want to become? What will be my legacy? How can I be a good father, a good human, a good man or a good woman? And if you are not asking these questions, don't be surprised to end up nowhere. So it's linked with identity. It's linked with your values. It's linked with your vision, your mission. And that is something I explained in my last book, Succeeding in Business in Any Market with Brian Tracy, in which we explain the foundation, these three, knowing yourself, your values, vision, and mission, are the foundation of every human. But how many people are asking them the question, simple question, who I am? How do I react to this, what is happening to me? What are the emotions linked with that, what I am living now? And why do I always repeat the same cycle without being able to change this? And
Yeah.
if you don't answer this kind of question, then it is difficult to say, okay, I believe in something bigger.
Mhm.
And that's why my advice for this young generation is is simply to have a journal. First thing, to have more awareness for who you are. What are you standing for? Knowing your value. And in my website, maximumperformance.com, you have the possibility, it takes only 5 minutes to take a test to say, okay, what is the most important in my life? And there is nothing wrong to say, okay, it's money before family. It's just to know your value, because when you know your value, then you are able to act following your values. And as I explained before, I lacked of integrity and I was so disappointed about me to be at that stage.
Mhm.
And I would recommend for young people, as I have this experience to say how much I suffered to have cheated on my wife because I thought I was a very good guy, but in fact, I was not that kind of guy I wanted to be and to become. So I decided to say no. Now, whatever happen, it will never happen again because I don't want anymore to be this kind of person, and I am not anymore this person that I was because I
Yeah.
decided to change and act from this point of perspective.
Right.
So if people lack faith when they are full, I think it's because they have too much tendency to go for an easy life.
Hmm.
They are wanting to just enjoy the process instead of doing something that is difficult. Having
Right.
faith is difficult. It's hard. It's tough. And it's opposite direction of many people. And that's why if you have faith, I encourage you to continue. And that would be the same for you, Kelia, that you are encouraging and pushing it through this fantastic podcast. And
Yeah.
for those who have not, find something bigger to fight, not just for your life, because you will see one day you will be old and your beauty will disappear. You will be a champion at 20 at school, for example, in practicing soccer or another sport, to say, oh, I am strong. Yes, but wait, when you will be 70 or 80, your muscle will be away. So if you base your life and your destiny about your beauty, you will be surprised and disappointed at the end. So bring more value to yourself, build yourself what is internal, and then you will be fulfilled.
Yeah, that's so good. Why do you think that this generation and just even the media today has a propensity to make Jesus more so about love and grace and acceptance over the other half of Jesus, which is the part that disciplines us, that chastises us, the Jesus that also has wrath, the Jesus that is holy and so holy that he can't accept sin, that he has to judge sin? Why do you think that there's not a balanced view of Jesus in society today?
For me, it's the same. It's because it's so much easier to pick up what we want or what is easier for us than what is tough. And to say that he is loving, that he is compassionate, is easier than to say he takes you accountable. And if you are not doing well, you will be judged at the end. So yes, it's easier to say, but he loves us how we are. Yes, okay, but you have to prove it. You have to do your job. Okay, you can repent until the last day, as on the cross, the person that was on his right, and
Mhm.
you can be repenting at any time. But if you are not, and you are doing with awareness on it, then don't be surprised not be at the right place at the end.
Yeah. I think a lot of people want Jesus in their image. They want Jesus to like the things that they like, to do the things that they want to do, and then they like that Jesus. But the Jesus that tells them to, like you said, have integrity, be compassionate and loving towards others,
Mm,
put others before yourself. That's a very hard thing to do for a lot of people in
I
a
agree.
society today where it's just about you. It's just about the individual, not about anybody else.
I agree. And to explain you what I live with Jesus is sometimes I'm struggling with him. I'm
Mhm.
fighting. I'm saying to him, yes, but why did it happen to me?
Mhm.
Or why are you forgetting me? But it's just a moment because then I try to come back. And the very fantastic difference with me 1 year ago and now, it's my
Yeah.
prayer. I will just pray in French because I don't know how to say the Heavenly Father in English. As you were here, I am not an English native person. So when I say passively, it's, for example, Notre Père qui es aux cieux, que ton nom soit sanctifié, que ton règne vienne. But now when I pray is Notre Père qui es aux cieux, que ton nom soit sanctifié, que ton règne vienne. It's affirmative. It's active. I pray with intention. And
Mhm.
that is different. That is a world of difference when you pray, not in just reciting blah 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 blah, because you know the prayer, but you are not even thinking. You think at something else. You think at what you will have at dinner today, or oh, I have to go to school tomorrow. But no, that is not a prayer. Prayer is really you are concentrate on what you do. You act intentionally, and your words matter. You
Yeah.
use your words with passion, with integrity, with intention directed to this prayer. And in that case, wow, amazing. I just encourage you to do it if you are already practicing it, and you will see the difference.
Yeah, because when you say it with intention, that it comes across like you actually believe that God will do exactly what that prayer is saying, that he will provide for you, that he'll take care of you, and that he is trustworthy. That's, it's believing in that wholeheartedly, and not kind of like the, okay, yeah, you might do it, maybe you'll do it, I don't know. And I'm just going to say this because I think I need to say it, just to check off the box that I prayed today, and I did that. But when you actually
Yeah.
believe that God is who he says he is, then you feel like you have everything that you need to succeed, whether it's in business, whether it's in your marriage, in your relationships, whatever you're doing, because God shows up in all of those places. He can show up in the life of an athlete, in the life of someone that has a business. You can have a business and and understand and look at God for provision in that business and for that business's success. So it's very, very important. My husband and I, when we got out of the military, we were very much focused on how can God show up in all the different areas of our life. When I grew up here in the US, we I did not have a church that was very big on explaining all of the characteristics of God and of Jesus. It was very much a lot of struggle in my church. And it
Hmm.
was kind of a pray this prayer so that your rent will be paid next month. But I never saw the reward and benefit of people who believed in God and were successful. I never saw the success part. I always saw the, okay, well, God made sure I had enough money to pay this bill, but they were continuously living in lack, and they were depressed, and there was nothing else a part of them besides that belief that God will just get them to the next month. And I always felt like God was much bigger than just getting you to the next month and getting that
Hmm.
next paid. He's much bigger than that. And I think that how he rewards us is directly tied to what we believe that he can do in realistically in our life.
Yeah, and I have a question for you, Kadia.
Yeah.
It is linked with the military, because in the military you learn to kill. What, how do you apply it? Also following faith and believing in Jesus that every life is worthy. What I would really like to hear from you on this side.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I was in the military, I left for the military when I was 18 years old. And so I did not have a very good home life situation. My mother had me at 15 years old. And so teen mother and all of the complications and issues that come along with having a teen mother was very much the case. And so when I left for the military, I was definitely running from something. My first duty station after the military, I was stationed and I lived in South Korea, in Seoul, South Korea. And I was 18, 19 years old and very alone. I was there and I realized that I had to deal with everything that I was running from. I was hoping to go into the military and be stationed somewhere close to home. And no, I got sent to a whole entire different continent. And so I really had to find my faith in that process. And so when I was going into the military, I didn't have that conscientious mindset of what I thought about, hey, if I were to get deployed and had to harm someone, what would that look like? What do I think about that? That conversation never happened in my head because
Mhm.
me, many other people in the military saw the military as an opportunity to get out of a very, very bad
Okay.
situation. Very few
Okay.
in the military are just generational, like, "Oh, my father was in the military, so that's why I'm going." It's very much people running away from something. However, my opinion on it now as far as what I know now, looking back, I think for me, that would be very, very difficult to do because I do value life from in the womb to all the way to the end. And
Mhm.
so that conversation now for me looks a lot different now that my faith is more solidified. Do I think that there are points where you have to defend yourself? Absolutely.
Yeah,
However, do I understand that there are people that are operating in this world under their own agendas, under their own reasons that are not coming from any basis of godly knowledge and wisdom and ideology? Yes. And so to use people like a military or whatever for purposeless agendas, I do not agree with that. And so, but I do think that to some extent, you have to be able to protect what is your country. But senseless killing, purposeless killing, no, absolutely, absolutely not. And, everyone's different on that. And I was in the military with many people who were conscientious objectors. So they did deploy and they did not have guns. They did not have guns. They did not have anything. And that was an opportunity that the military gave them to either stay back or not
Mhm.
necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's my opinions on it has very much changed, but I could imagine that if I did have those stances while I was in the military was very good about respecting people's beliefs. Yeah.
I, I have to admit something because this conversation is very interesting, and I thank you very much for this opinion, and I'm sure it will help a lot of people also that are listening to it. One day really changed my life because I was having problem with my ex-wife, and we were disputing about our child, and one was taking the child and the other on the other side. And that day I felt, oh, but I was so angry about her and the problem with the child in between, that she didn't let me the child, that I felt that I was able to kill. I was oh, but oof, what a bad feeling to be able to do it.
Yeah.
In that situation was really bad, but now I understand that I am able to kill, and that is not so easy to take in consideration. But I know that if I have to defend my country or if I have to defend my family, don't come on my feet because I will take out the gun. So I'm a gentleman, I'm very kind, but at one point, it's not because we are defending ourselves for our life that we should be judged for this behavior. And I think at monks at the middle age that were killed by hordes of yes, people. And I said, yeah, but they died for nothing because they were not able, they were just praying and not able to defend themselves.
Right.
So we need to be able to take out our sword and to defend ourselves properly,
Mhm.
and it's not aligned with being faithful, I think.
Right. No, I think that God understands the righteous defense of what we need. So for example, everything that I'm sure you hear about it, what's going on in Israel right now,
Mm,
what's and the attacks. No part of me believes that they should not protect their country in the way that they should.
mm,
And they understand the 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 purpose of that land, the purpose of it. So there's that spiritual element that's tied to it as well that I'm sure that they feel of no, like this is our land. This is God-given land. And so it's very, very important. I mean, I live in Florida here in the United States, and so we are very gun friendly. I grew up in homes with my dad had guns, swords, all types
mm,
of stuff. So I'm very familiar with it. And I do believe in protecting what is yours. And I do think that God, the Holy Spirit works in all of us. And I do think that the Holy Spirit will be able to assess and give us guidance on what needs to happen in all situations. Every
Mm.
situation is not the same. And so that's what I truly believe. And so I definitely think that, but you being someone that's, trained to be physically fit, to be physically able to defend yourself and defend the people that you love, that ability is also ability that comes from God. And so I'm grateful that, and me and my husband, we talk about that all the time. We go to the gym, we work out, and we like to push ourselves to failure because you want to get better each and every time, not just go in
Yes,
there cute and pump some iron and just sit there with your cute outfits. Like, no, we're going to failure. We're going to, hey, you can do one more. Hey,
yes,
until your arm,
exactly,
you're not done until your arms fall off. Okay. Because you're pushing yourself each and every
exactly,
day. And so even that change for us in the gym and our mindset, it's like that. Yeah, you're building yourself. You can't build yourself if you're just doing the easy little small reps just to say that you did it and leave the gym,
exactly.
not building anything.
Yes.
Yeah. So very, very, very important. So we kind of got off on a tangent, but it's okay. I enjoyed speaking with you.
Yeah.
So what
And
do you
I,
think? I'm sorry.
yes, I think it's linked just with the relationship with God. That is also a training. You need to train, you need to build yourself, you need to build the faith, you need to build and train the prayer, to go to the church. Because you can say, okay, but I don't practice and I believe. But if you are just a believer and you are not practicing, then what is the goal?
Right.
So either you go and you do, or you are not actively involved, and in that case, that is a lack of awareness and good practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
How do
uh,
you
but
think?
uh, but I just was this kind of person that was believing but not practicing. But now every day I do it, and as I said, I go to the church, directly to the church, pray and to affirm my words with a prayer, and that
Right.
is a huge change.
Mhm. How do you think that your relationships have changed now that you are more practicing and more focused on your relationship with God? How has your relationships changed around you?
Yeah, my mm, mm, a difficult question. On myself, I feel aligned. I feel stronger. I feel someone that was never so strong as today, even if physically perhaps I am less strong than I was at 20. But
Mhm.
I know that I have the mindset, I have God by my side, so I am just unbreakable.
Yeah.
That's it. But regarding others, because I changed a lot also through my coaching journey, my mother, my family say, "Oh, but we don't recognize you anymore." And it's a process of growth. Once you change your relationship with God. Don't be surprised that people around you will change because they will don't understand you. And it's
Right.
linked because we have a primary brain instinct, the instinctive one, that is having threat when you change, because the unknown could be potentially hurting you. And that's why when the person is changing, the people that are around and not aligned with who the person is becoming, seeing it not on a good eye, and say, but why are you changing? You are not the same. And they are trying to push you back
Yeah.
to become or to stay the person you were before, because it's more easier for them or comfortable to know you who you are. Oh, but you are always the same Uli, or you say you are always the same Kadia. And
Yeah.
no, I am evolving. I am trying to become the best version of myself, and that's why some people don't feel very comfortable when you change.
So you would say your community and the people that you have around you during your faith journey is very important.
Yeah, important. But if you are with people that are not aligned with who you are becoming, and especially if you come closer to God, they will test you. And you can say, what is the most important? Is it my relationship with God, or is it my relationship with my family, for example? If you have children that are not practicing it, and it's the case with my children, I have one that is a strong head. So he is so grounded on the rational level that he cannot understand now what is faith, what is God. But I try to show him what it is, and that we don't know always everything. And the other one is practicing it with me. And I said to my child that is very strong and very good integrity, that he wants to be a better person, he needs to find the way through it. And the other one that is less strong, but is practicing, I say, yes, this one will be better. This one will be stronger, because the day he will face something very huge, very important in his life,
Yeah.
he will have the faith and God at his side, and the other not. That is a personal choice.
Yeah, of course. It's everyone, even with our children, everyone has to have a personal relationship with God that shapes their journey and their walk with Him.
But
And so that's why it's important to understand that our children are given to us. They are ours, but they're also given to us. But they eventually are given back to God, and they have their own journeys with God and their own relationship that has to be built. And, when you're a parent for life. And so you're there praying for them, being someone to answer questions for them, being someone to help them in that journey. And that's just a blessing in and of itself, because not everyone has that person. Not everyone has
mm,
that parent that's going to be praying for them and wishing well over them. And that's just a blessing to have, because even, when they do come across that time in life where they have that challenge, they know that they can fall back on their praying father. They know they can
yeah,
fall back
yeah,
on someone that's going to give them and speak to them in a way that is showing the full character of God. And maybe that challenge will be the challenge that draws them to God. You never know. And
yeah.
so, that's why it's important for us to have an image of Christ likeness everywhere we go, because we never know how we're going to impact other people.
hmm And
Yeah.
and let me explain you this story I have with my children. I wanted them to be stronger also, so we play and we practice sport. And the younger that was less strong, I say, okay, but you do what you can do. And now, because we are practicing on a regular basis, he comes to me and say, "Oh, Papa, I want to practice sport today. Oh, but this weekend, as I am divorced, oh, Papa, can we do sport and go to practice judo?" So he's asking me now, and that is the same with the relationship with God. The example you show as a parent is very significant, and you don't understand and know how much it is to show what you are doing to your children, but to let them practice on their own. And one day they see, oh, but you were right. So, and they come to you as you were not waiting for this.
Yeah. That's so important to view all the relationships that we have like that, like how our relationship is built with God. So that's very important. What advice do you have to our youth, to young adults who are struggling in their faith? Can you give them some advice on what they can do to kind of help them in that process and in that journey?
Mhm. It's linked with my experience as judo athlete. And when you have confidence, you don't know why. And when you lack confidence, you don't know why. And for the faith, it's the same. So when you have it, you say, "Oh, but I am unbreakable." And when you don't have it, you say, "But why am I struggling with it?" So I think we should be less emotional and just doing it on a daily practice. And as I said, I encourage you to pray, to go to the church. And if you don't feel, don't go. And perhaps one day you will have an illumination as me, and to say, now it's what I want to do every day. And if you have it, yeah, continue to practice, even if you say, oh, but I am tired, oh, but I want to do something else. My opinion now, I explained to you, is when I practice it, is intentional first, and then it's as having something to eat or to drink. It's something vital for me. It's
Yeah.
becoming at that point. It's not, oh, but I have to do. No, it's not I have to do. I do it because it's vital for me to eat this food that is a spiritual food to come in my body, and that is so important for me that I will prioritize it over my free time, over perhaps going to the party or to the club.
Yeah, absolutely. It becomes something that you yearn for. You yearn for that closeness and that presence of God and to feel it all the time, to want to feel it all the time. And so I completely agree with you. And I think when you get to that point, God is just he's fully in your life and you can feel the spirit. You start getting discernment of what to do, what not to do, the type of people to hang out with, the type of people maybe you shouldn't hang out with. You start getting the spirit. He'll speak to you in these ways and give you that discernment, and it's so so important to develop that relationship with God. um Thank you so much, Uli, for taking the time out to speak with us. When I was reading your the information that you sent me, and also looking at your judo history, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Because I do think, coming from someone, athlete or military background, you have to you can't help but marry the idea that toughness and resiliency is the foundation of strengthening anything, and especially when it comes to your faith. And that's not something that people want to hear today. People want, like you said, an easy life, a stress-free life, a life that only is centered around them, and anything that's uncomfortable is immediately shunned. But I think that we should be welcoming that uncomfortability. We should be welcoming those challenges to go, God, I don't know what you're doing right now, but I'm just going to expect that it's going to shape me and prune me and make me closer to you in this process, and I'm gonna do my best to keep a smile on my face. And sometimes that's how it is. Sometimes that's just what it is. You can't explain, why you're going through a sickness, or you can't explain why you're going through some type of hardship. But if God is sovereign over everything, then we have to know and understand that He's got us. He's got us in His hands, and we're not forgotten, and that He loves us. And so thank
Mm.
you so much for coming and just sharing your story. And I pray that it touches the right person who may have been in your situation, who may be in your situation where they have a whole history of being on top of the world and being the best. And then God came knocking at their door and was like, you haven't experienced the best yet.
Yeah.
So, so important. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for this opportunity and honor, and I wish you all the best.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Uli.
Goodbye, Kedia.